Asmongold is still ticking around. Time is ticking. That is still only at Heaven's Word, if I'm not wrong. Still looking at cat girls, still spending time in golden saucers, 6 hours a day grooming his chocobos, for sake, man. Time's ticking, man. When the are you gonna do ultimate? Holy shit.
Oh, alright, okay, alright, fine.
Hey guys, so I came across this video where Asmongold is reacting to a Final Fantasy XIV veteran who speaks on the bitter truth about WoW players. So I'm very interested to hear the input of a outsider, if you will, who also has experience with an MMO that I'm enjoying very much now. So obviously he is probably quite boastful that he's a veteran of the better game. But it'll be interesting to hear his thoughts. Let's take a look.
Okay, let's see here. Truth about WoW players. Let me see here.
Blizzard tries so hard to want you to play their game.
Yeah, they
Blizzard
do.
tries so hard to tie their player base down to only play World of Warcraft. And you know what happened 15 years later?
What? What happened?
All these World of Warcraft players right now is in copium and deniability. They cannot play another game. That's why now they cannot accept that their game is having a max exodus. Right now, the World of Warcraft community cannot accept that their own community is playing another game. That's why now they are shitting on one another. Fuck, man, they are even shitting. Like, WoW Retail is shitting on WoW Classic. WoW Classic is shitting on WoW Retail. The very fact that even the community itself is killing one another because they are playing the same game except different iteration. And then they both of them also shit on people that just don't play WoW.
Yeah.
It's all Blizzard's doing. Blizzard have mind washed these World of Warcraft players to the point that you guys can only play World of Warcraft. We cannot let you play. Blizzard.
I think it's because people, listen, here's why. It's because people have played WoW for like 10, 15 years, right? And that's been like the main game they've played.
And the design of the game requires you to play often to keep up, if you will. If you're going to be competitive or part of a guild or something like that, there's a lot of time to be logged, which leaves not so much room for much else. Then you talk about the time spent, and there's an emotion behind that where you know you've sunk this time, so you feel attached only because of that sunk cost fallacy. Well, I put all this time and effort into it, I'm not just going to throw it all away and start over somewhere else. People hang on very dearly, especially those who had put in the most effort.
For me, like as I said, I'll go through. Let me just go ahead and show you guys some other games that I played, right?
I was going to say Asmongold's kind of the exception to the rule who can religiously make time for a number of games. The way that he's been able to level up the Final Fantasy and the New World characters simultaneously, it's pretty impressive in my eyes.
So I've got New World, 200 hours. Let's see here. Alt F4, 4 hours. Not really too many there. Cuphead, I played Cuphead. Dark Souls 3, 173 hours. Dark Souls 2, 74 hours. Dark Souls 1, 362 hours. Let's see here. Fall Guys, 35 hours. Hades, I played it for 71 minutes. I didn't play it for that long. I thought maybe I'd play it later on. What's this? Hollow Knight, I played that for 8 hours. I played a little bit more off stream too. Let's see, Mortal Online 2, I didn't really play that one for that long. It was like 5 hours. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, people might not know this. 865 hours. 865 hours I put into PUBG. I fucking love PUBG. McConnell and I would play PUBG. Me, McConnell, Mizkif, and Esfand would, and Train and Zach would play fucking PUBG every single night together, man. I would wake up at 6 in the morning before my stream so I could play with Train and Zach in the very early mornings before they ended their stream, man. Like, It was a great fucking time. Not Zach Rar, Mick Larivi, okay? Yeah, it's a real life friend of mine. I've known him forever, okay? And so let's see, he actually got me into WoW. So Rust, look at Rust right there, 158 hours playing Rust. And let's see here, Sekiro, 32 hours playing Sekiro. Valheim, 220 hours on Valheim. Wolcen, 26 hours, right? So like you put together all of these different games, and I've played many of these, but the point is that I've actually played a lot of other games, and
but he's also the exception to the rule. His lifestyle is obviously very different from the average gamer. When you look at Josh Strife Hayes, it takes 100 hours to get better video. It's explaining the fact that the average gamer has something like 72 minutes a day on average to play games. So when you think about that, and then you translate it into time requirements for WoW, even that isn't enough. So if you play WoW, it's like your only game for most people.
These are all just, and also keep this in mind, these are just games that are on Steam. I'm not talking about like Apex Legends and plenty of other stuff. Like, I've gone hard on a lot of other fucking games. Like in, what's it called? I think I probably put like about 1,500 or 1,500 hours in the COD. Right? I played a lot of other games. So the point that I'm making here is that many other WoW players don't really play as many other games as I do, because many of them don't just sit at home all day playing video games all fucking day. They have jobs, they have like, you know, like a family or whatever, right? Like I'm free of these mortal tethers, and I can truly invest myself into playing video games all day. And yeah, PoE, yeah, that's not even counting Path of Exile. That's not even counting Apex Legends. It's not even counting COD. That's not even counting Diablo. Like, I'm talking about like tens of thousands of hours I put into games. And so anyway, the reason why WoW players have a hard time playing other games, and especially content creators, is because I think many of them don't want to give off the impression that WoW is dying, because if WoW is dying, then they are too, because so much of their brand and everything is built around WoW. And I think this is somewhat the case with me, right? A lot of people watch me for WoW, etc. But if I play another game, I still have a large audience of people who like seeing that too. And I think that's awesome, and I really appreciate that. That's so fucking amazing. I feel so lucky for that, honestly. I really do. And so that's what I think happens, man, is that people try to people try to put a perception that WoW is not dying, because if it does, then these people would be out of a job.
It hurts all the more for people. Forget about the streamers or the creators who are revolving around WoW. Just think about players who have put in a significant time investment and are now being told this game isn't going to happen anymore, so all of that was for naught. GG. That's not a good feeling. So you can imagine the resentment that some people feel when they're in that position and being told their game's not good for this reason or that reason. They're bound to lash out. I mean, I've said it before in comments, but the culture that immediately comes about in the game of World of Warcraft instills a player versus player animosity. It's inherent in the fact that there are warring factions between players, and then this culture of bitterness towards one another extends within the own faction and then across realms, and then it just permeates across the entire community until it's just this festering rat's nest of bitter anger and hatred towards one another, and it's all derived from the mutual hatred for the game by players. World of Warcraft's design. It's crazy. I just don't want to be a part of that anymore. Not until things get better. Not until things are fixed. Not until I have a sense that they actually care about the IPs that they represent, the players that they want to serve. I don't see it anymore.
And that's the truth. That's the truth. I think that there are some people that are exceptions, right? Like Max is an exception. Max has even streamed other games and done great. And I think Peo is another exception. And there are plenty of other exceptions to this. However, there are a lot of not exceptions. And if you put them all together, there is a majority of not exceptions, okay?
If you've been curious about how hardcore rating teams function...
This is the worst thing for me about Final Fantasy. Look at this.
Shut the fuck up! Don't talk about effects! Max, I like you a lot. Don't you dare to talk about effects! I play WoW every single fucking day. I don't even know who is my teammate. I raid with 20 other people. My teammate tells me, others come to me. Where? Where are you? I'm over there. Where is the repair bot? The repair bot is right in front of you. What? Where? Don't you dare to tell me about the effects in this game, okay?
I agree with Max. Yeah, I agree with Max. I think this is crazy. I think some of the effects are over, like, yeah, they're wild. I think Max is right. You can turn them down. Yeah, I know you can turn them down. And that's what you do, right? Of course. Right. But like what I'm saying is, like, when it's like this is crazy. The secret to making games like this successful is to give sliders. Give sliders to players. If people don't like that kind of thing, then they can just turn the slider down. If they do like that kind of thing, they can turn it up. And that's the fucking secret. Yeah, boob sliders, ass sliders, graphic sliders, spell effect sliders, you know, all that stuff, okay?
Thick thigh sliders.
Real talk from Sifa, world first raider on visual clarity.
Right in front of you, what? Where? Don't you dare to tell me about the effects in this game, okay?
I mean, he's not wrong. Final Fantasy deals with things like that a lot better than people give it credit for. Anytime that there's like just visual overload like that, it's at a point where you don't need to be looking anywhere for things like that. Okay? What I've noticed in WoW is they like doing things like putting red AoEs on red floors with a like red lighting with other red AoEs going off at the same time.
Well, no, it's even better than that. The WoW raids, what they have is they have a blue floor and a light blue swirly, and on top of that, they have a Frost Death Knight casting Remorseless Winter, which, by the way, is blue, and then if you get hit by it, you're dead. So not only are you... it's like, I think one of the worst fights for this. You guys ever did Tomb of Sargeras? Do you remember the fucking, the priestesses, or the Sisters of the Moon, or whatever the fuck fight it was, where you fought in that little circle area? Holy shit, that was bad. Oh my god, I remember, like, I unironically, like, where are the glasses that I have? I would wear glasses because they, like, filtered my vision to where I could see things differently.
I was wondering about how you might be able to correct the contrast or lack thereof between those shades of blue. So what's the solution for people who are actually colorblind? I guess you turn on the colorblind settings. And if you do so, does that make the raid better? It's so awkward.
It was so fucking bad, man. Like, yeah, and the real worst thing about the visual clarity in WoW is the fact that other players make it worse.
Right? Final Fantasy doesn't do that. If you want to talk about visual clarity, I'd say Final Fantasy does a much better job of it.
I think that's a good point, and I do think it's kind of true. And one example of that being true is the Baphomet transition. Is that, yeah, usually, that's a good point, is that whenever they have, like, one of those massive, you know, like, a blinding, dazzling scenes, it's not during a point where you actually have to respond to something. But I've only done a very small part of the fights, point of the fights, and so, yeah, I think that, you know, as time goes on, I might find exceptions to that for sure.
Asmongold is still fucking digging around. Time is ticking. That motherfucker is still only at Heaven's Word, if I'm not wrong. Still looking at cat girls, still spending time in golden saucers, 6 hours a day grooming his chocobos, for fuck's sake, man. Time's ticking, man. When the fuck are you gonna do Ultimate? Holy shit.
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Alright, okay. Alright, fine.
I love it. Oh, I gotta look that guy up. Is he on YouTube? Arthars. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Hilarious. Dude, that was so funny. He's still on Heaven's Sword looking at cat girls. It is what it is. That's what he would say. Peace, y'all.